Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time you're watching this. I'm Kavan at TradeWithKavan.com. Quickly wanted to go over some of the trades that we made today. Biggest trade was right out of the gate, was in the morning on Fossil. We were watching this short. Wasn't really any levels we were trading around. Wasn't worried about any of this descending support until about 76. Obviously, we were worried about 80, that solid round number that's going to be that psychological support. And I'll kind of show you how we traded this. Looking at a 1-minute chart here. Kind of saw this stock putting in a little bear flag right here. Now, I was already short off of this doji top. We got short. I added some as this was popping up, and I was looking at the volume. I was seeing my green bars, look at my red bars. My red bars were selling, my green bars a little lighter volume. Now, that's not always going to be a positive signal, but in this case, it did work out. We added a little bit, managing around this 84.12 area. Now, whenever I put that in the chat room, I said keep your hand on the trigger. So we kept our stop in 85.01, which is where we had it. And we added, but because we added, that increases the risk and the amount of exposure and amount of dollar risk that we have in this trade. So what I did here was we were adding with hand on the trigger managing around that 84.11 area. It tagged 80. Hit 84.14, and you want to be patient. You want to be patient. If you see it spike up, let's say 84.30, boom, you got to get out. But this managed, every time it hit it, it pulled back under. This bear flag resolves, and you get a move down. Now, I covered half as soon as we hit new lows. So as soon as we took out this little low right here, this 83.20 level was covering half. And I didn't want to cover the rest of it. Now, I want to keep half and let half run. So I had my 5-minute chart up. My 5-minute chart, if you pull up your 5-minute chart, is making lows here, is making lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then right here, when this flushed through 81, it was a pretty big move down. A lot of volume came in. I went ahead and covered. And I actually took a little stab at a long, and we still made money on this long even though the trade didn't work out. We got long 81.50s as this was hugging with a stop at 80.99. So we were risking about 50 cents. I sold half. Let me get you. We sold half, 81.85. Adjusted our stop to break even and got stopped out of the rest. But this could have run quite a ways, and I'll tell you why. Because anytime a stock is down more than 10%, shorts can't market into the stock. They can only use limit orders, and sometimes that creates kind of a false bid for the stock where the stock will rally. And if you look on a 60-minute chart, I can actually show you we got long at the end of the day on this Fossil, F-O-S-L, on this 60-minute flag break. And as soon as it took out this little level right here and started reversing, and I got out what's appearing to be a little early now, but you're never going to catch it all, so you don't have to worry about that. But got long just above 81.90. Actually got long a little bit below that. It tagged that, pulled back in a little bit, got long. And again, even though this is a bear flag, because people can't market in short, sometimes it's going to create that, I call it a short sell, SSR squeeze is what I track it as, short sell restriction. But you can see this thing kind of rallied up right here to 83.13, which is a pretty big gain. Now, we exited on that particular long, 82.55, long from 81.87, 82.55, exit 82.62. And it was just because it was looking a little bit sloppy. It was kind of pulling in right here, and it was having pretty big pulls. You can't really see it, but this was a spike up right here, 82.86, pulls immediately down to 82.50. So I just went ahead and got out of this trade. Again, obviously now, looks like I could have held it longer, but you're never going to get it all. You just got to kind of manage it with the way you feel and put a little system in place. It was getting towards the end of the day, and I just wasn't comfortable with the way that it was trading, and so I went ahead and took the profits. We had a profit, so that's okay. Another trade that we made today, Angie's List, ANGI, for a long. Now, I like this one because it had 38% short interest. It had good news. It was breaking descending resistance on the day chart, and there was only 52 million shares in the float. So you know that this has the potential to be a big, big gainer. Now, I had an initial loss on it right out of the gate, but we had a couple good trades on this. Angie's List from 724 to 735 on half, and then 720 on half. So that was just a small gain. We lost 4 cents on one half, made 11 cents on the other. But our big gain was a 723 long, exit 735 and 750. That was our biggest gain on it. Again, nice gain there. Couple losers today. Fossil, I was actually trying to play that hourly flag for a breakdown initially coming out of lunch. Probably should not have done that. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. Captain Hindsight's the best trader in the world. But this bear flag was going to try to trade this for more move down. Just because that short sell restriction in, it can create a false bid. But that doesn't mean that it's going to. So that, that's not going to happen every time. Was still an okay stab to try to trade this to the short side. But obviously it didn't work. We got stopped out there. And then my biggest, I guess, if you want to call it, kind of regretful trade was I took a stab on this Zillow. The Zillow was really, really strong. And I can show you, a lot of times these stocks that are super strong, everybody say, well, why would you go long? That thing was way up. Well, it doesn't really matter when the stock has as much volume as it's having, as much volume as this is having right now. They can keep going forever. I'll give you an example. This EGRX has been running from 20 bucks. It keeps going up every single day. And if you pull up a 5-minute chart, you watch it earlier, kind of pulls a little bit right here, rips, pulls, rips. It's ripping right now into the close. So, you want to try to trade strength, buy strength on pullbacks, short, weak stocks on bounces. That's the best strategy to do. Typically, if you're trying to short strong stocks, you're going to get burned. Now, one that I was watching short that I put in yesterday's video that I completely missed out on was this CRIS. This was actually a nice fade. Look at this recovery, though. Wow, nice recovery. I did miss this today. Didn't really do what I wanted to do and didn't really have a pattern necessarily that I could short, but did end up working out. Another one that would have ended up working out was this FireEye. Today was finally the day for this to come in. I was taking stabs at that yesterday. Would have loved for it to open and get above 45 in the middle of trading and then pull. Could have made some great coin on it, but it didn't get. That's what we were watching for, the over-under. So we want to see it spike up above 45 and then pull under, and then we wanted to short. But this price action you see right here was before the cash session, before the bell opened, so we didn't really get the look that we wanted. Therefore, we didn't short it. But hopefully we'll see everybody in chat tomorrow. Everybody have a good evening.